Language is dying day by day, cause a elder that passes away carries the mother tongue and the last syllables of the ancient tongue, and other languages dies. And then we have Canada mirrors global language crisis both in its peril and promise. If the 60 or more Indigenous languages in Canada, just 3, Cree, Inuktitut, and Ojibwe, is still strong and stable and viable, meaning capable of living and growing. Residential school severed, meaning the word severed, that they took the connection away and it's broken off to the languages, while the reserve system and other colony policies divided communities from others. We shared language and traditions. The aftermath includes ongoing widespread language loss, injury to cultural, personal identity, personal identity and community health. Of Canada's approximately 1.5 million Indigenous people, just 50% speak their mother tongue at home. So that's where it should begin, at home. And so take it from there, take it out from the outer circle, and then once you keep going out of the outer circle, go around, and then it'll come around, and then bring it back home. Don't be afraid to go out there with the questions that I asked you earlier. So answer those questions and check it off. The more you check those things off, and the more language you'll build up. Okay. So I'm gonna go into, in this day and age. So with many Indigenous languages facing extinction across Canada, finding ways to preserve them has never been more urgent, and mobile technology might be the solution, right? So turning technology to save endangered languages. So this is what has turned into today. Because the apps today serves both teaching tool and a way to archive Indigenous languages. It has many features, and even a keyboard has been developed with the Cree syllabics and the standard Roman orthography images. And then you have images of the medicine wheel that's already translated in the language. You have a lot of videos out there on YouTube, and auto recordings. So like I said, you have to hear it to understand it. And because when me growing up, it was spoken, and the more you get into this and you hear it, it's speaking to you. So you need to grasp that. So the technology did today, let's take advantage of that. And with me, in today's world for children, like the cell phones, laptops, take a moment and say, okay, we're gonna learn some Cree today. Let's look at a video. Because let's be honest, they have that phone with them every day. And they're using it at school, which teachers has come to the point where they take a group and the other group is doing something, and then the other group will say, okay, let's go on your schools today have laptops, or those tablets they're called. So the teacher nowadays could set up lessons on there where the kids just go like this with their finger, tap it in. They even have recordings in this where they do their work. That's their worksheets now, is on this laptop or this iPad. And I started putting that in too, where I went to the teachers and they said, well, are you gonna put anything on Seesaw? I said, how do I do that? So I wasn't afraid to go ask. So when they told me and showed me how to do it, and it just gives me more time to talk to a student one-on-one, or concentrate on a little group while they go and do the iPad. And there's one website that I use that they do go in there, because you press a button and it says all these Cree words, and it has the pictures, it has the colors, it has the numbers, it even has structure of how to say the body bones in Cree. And if you're interested in that website, it's called learncree.ca. Okay, learncree.ca is one of the ones that I turn to help me get the kids more engaged in today's technology. And we do go into videos, because I share other culturals. Say for instance, Molly from Denali, she's from Alaska, and her tradition and her storyline, we're sharing, and we have similarities. And my grade kindergartens 1, 2, and even 3 and 4, and we go through those videos, and it's more knowledge when you give like kids like cartoons. And Molly from Denali is a cartoon based on a little girl that lives in Alaska and goes through everyday life and cultural. And she does have little Cree, not Cree, her language here and there. Okay. So in today's world, the kids have laptops at school, and teachers use that in what is called Seesaw. So that's where I put it in. It's called Seesaw today. Also now, Indigenous language teachers can now text, type, and tweet in their traditional language. It's been phenomenal how the technology, the Cree syllabics, it's even in Nutuktuk, Ojibwe, Cree, it's all in there where you could type a Cree word. There's Cree dictionaries where you say, oh, how do you say this? How do you say that? Or how is it spelled? So you could type, it says English, and you put the English word, and you translate it, and it translates for you, and it has a bunch of Cree words, which is called Cree dictionary. Okay, so also new and can tweet in their traditional language thanks to the new apps out there. It's even Cameron Adams came up with an app not too long ago, and Cameron is a band member of Norway House, originally from Gillam, and he's going to school becoming a language teacher. Okay, so he came up with the Cree and Swampy Cree app. Using different forms of media and something we do every day. We turn to to a cell phone, laptops, and so bringing language and media tech is always revitalizing into space, just gives more opportunity to be alive in our lives. I would like to do a quote from Stanley McKay, formerly from Fisher River. I know Stanley from Fisher River because my dad worked with him, and that's how I got to meet him years ago. So he says, it is important to be able to speak our own language, the original language of our people. The people who migrate to our land and became the rulers discourage the use of our language. Also, religion believes in medicine. They try to make us like them, but has failed. Thanks to programs to help support and encourage us to use our own language. It is important, especially for our young people, to be able to speak it. It gives them pride and foundation on which to build their future. They need to know and be proud of the past and know their identity, and the most important part of this is the native language. So, as years went by teaching Cree, some of the past students that I have, especially that they're in high school now, they're wishing that I was going to teach high school in Cree. So hopefully one day that I will get into the high school setting, because it's very important to continue the language in every grade, doesn't matter. But not only that, with Native studies that they have now, that's a very excellent way of learning cultural and tradition. So get into Native studies, and some way along the way you'll hear the language in these subjects that they call Native studies. And there's a new subject called Truth and Reconciliation that came up with high school now. So that's another one where I took part of me going to show them the jingle dress dance and what the significance of it. We have guest speakers that come into school to talk about the medicines. We have elders coming in just to say hi. We also have included Aboriginal Day, and September always comes, they know that it's Orange Shirt Day. We honor those things that comes up every month, that is where it is supposed to be celebrated. So we have Orange Shirt Day, Aboriginal Day, well, Indigenous Peoples Day. And there's a new campaign called the Moose Campaign, where it's a pin with a piece of leather as to symbolize no more domestic violence. We also have tried to get into having more tradition and ceremonies in the school setting of feasts, round dance, having a drum in school, invite guests into your school. So, because a lot of our youth are struggling of who they want to be or who they want to become or where to go. And we need to give them that support as much as I could give support in the language. And in there too, like when we said mino wasiwe, mino esquesiwe, mino napisi, mino mematisawin. Those are a lot of, I tell them I always share my stories with them, me growing up. And it's very important to listen to your parents nowadays. Because in the blink of an eye that you're gonna miss that lesson, and you're gonna go back, oh, what did my mom and dad say? And just be careful. Just live the moment and respect your parents, respect your grandparents, respect your aunt and uncles.
That's it. Kita damaskat na anas kagisigak. Kim Halcrow. So it wasn't too long ago I was introduced to the medicine wheel. So the word medicine is maskiki. So the medicine that we have in the medicine wheel, to me, I look at it and I follow it, and it gives me a sense of belonging, harmony, balance, and where I'm at, and just to live life happily and healthy. Okay, so as we all know, medicine wheel is your key, where it's a circle, and there's no end, there's no beginning, and just continues, right? So once we have this wheel, it's split in 4, and that's when the 4 directions came in. So once on one side, so like I said, everything comes in a circle. So once I started learning more about the medicine wheel, I was thinking okay, 4. So the number 4. So number 4, Newo, is a sacred number. Very sacred number, Newo. And so I started off by saying that 4 is a sacred number, because when like the drum, when you have 4 beats before the song begins, You have the 4 beats of the 4 directions when the dancers have to acknowledge the 4 directions in the movement. And you'll see that in 4. Okay, and the medicine wheel is to learn, teach, and grow. It's the content of inner spiritual and energy and healing. So with the 4, like I shared with you how the seasons mean so much to me, because knowing what seasons are coming, I'm prepared for those seasons. So when you look at it, so we'll go back to the 1 again, the Goggin, Sequin, and Nipit. So with all these terminology in Cree, Bipun, Tagagin, Sequin, Nipin, it takes you in the journey of, okay, so Bipun, we're going hunting. Tagagin is fall, we're gonna go boating. Sequin, we're gonna go, it's a time to go smudge, not smudge, to go into a sweat. Nipin, summertime, we're going to the powwow trail. So every component has you looking at the chart and say, oh, it's Bipun now, oh, and then gets you going into the circle. So like I said, everything comes in 4s, but I wanted to share on, I'm going to emphasize more on the 4 elements of spiritual, physical, mental, and emotional. After looking at the medicine wheel when COVID started, school was hard. We didn't have students in our classroom. Everybody had to be at home. It was a difficult time. And looking at the medicine wheel, it gave me a chance for them and introduced in the medicine wheel in the parts of how do I take care of myself, mind, body, and spirit, and the emotions that everybody was going through during the time of COVID. And so I send them this medicine wheel, and I just basically wrote, so we're going to start, so spiritual, physical, mental, and emotional. So spiritual is this, it's the the spirit within you. So how do we lift up that spirit? So I gave them a couple ideas what to do with their spirit. So one of them was if you're to smudge. Smudging lifts up your spirit. Drumming. A few of my students had hand drums, so it was nice for them to be drumming at their drum. And we have singing. And it doesn't matter what kind of singing, because when you sing, like what I do when I sing my song, it's just, it lifts up my spirit, okay? And then playing music. Any kind of music that lifts up your spirit. If you have a hobby, lifts up your spirits, like arts and crafts, doing art, beading, coloring, painting. So pick up that hobby. Even sitting there putting puzzles together is a challenge. That lifts up your spirit. Also go, I know at the time of COVID they weren't doing ceremony like attending a sweat, but after that we did. So where we needed that. So a lot of people that I know already went to sweats after everything was open and everything was lifted of COVID. And yeah, so it was very nice to see a lot of people that went into sweat and to renew themselves, I guess you would say. And it's very nice to see them to not to be so confined at home. So spiritual, it's the spirit in with you, things to at home when you try to lift up your spirit. So those are ways of what the kids have shared with me what they did and what I've asked them, things that you could do. So we're gonna go to physical meaning your body. So physical has to do with running, walking with your dog. You have a companion, all right? And yoga. Yoga is very relaxing. That's anything that has to do with your body. We could go to physical running, walking your dog, yoga, rearranging, cluttering. That has to do with your body, your exercising. This was a good time for me when I took the chance of getting into my power dancing, so I would dance to myself and get my body going. So that helped with my physical part during COVID time. And then those were examples of physical. And we're gonna go into mental. So mental meaning the mind. Okay, so the mind, we talk to someone. So that's a big one, talking to someone. Whatever's bothering you, or you just want to share, you have ideas and just share with a friend. So talking is the most important thing with mental. You have to talk. Don't try to keep it in, because your spirit will have a hard time to get into physical and then mental. Okay, so talking with friends, meditation. Meditation is where you're at oneself, praying, ceremony, smudging. That's another part of the mental part of our medicine wheel. Getting fresh air. So go out there, breathe it in, and not only that, take off your shoes and connect to Mother Earth. It helps because you see a lot of kids running around with bare feet, and it's pretty cool. And then I've done that a couple of times where I just go sit outside and just walk around my yard and connect with Mother Earth, and just to have that cold feeling to go up, and you just feel refreshed once you're outside all day, and you come in and you feel refreshed and tired and ready for bed. So mental also, using the brain, beating. When you're sitting there beating, you're counting one beat at a time. You're looking at what you're making, putting a lot of heart and soul of what you're making. Painting also, you're putting a lot of your ideas on this painting. Also putting puzzles together. I think I've said that somewhere. If not, but taking the time to put those 5,000 pieces or 1,000 pieces, and that also helps bring in your family, and because I've done that a couple of times with my dad, where we'd just sit there, have tea, take the moment, and oh, this piece doesn't fit here, oh, I'll put it over here, and then it ended up being in Cree, and it was fun. Tapina. So tapina is like putting the pieces together. So doing puzzles is a really a real good one for the mind. Okay, so we're gonna go up to emotional. Emotional was a very it was very heartbroken for me when school got shut down and we didn't have students, and it was a very quiet time and we couldn't go visit, right? You couldn't go visit, you couldn't go out, you couldn't even go out of town, you were stranded at home. And then, but lucky for media, we had Facebook time, Zoom, Teams, that's our way of connecting back to the students, and it was very nice and heartwarming to see the students that are very excited to learn, even though it wasn't at the school setting. So emotional. Then again, talk to someone. Always keep that talking. Don't be afraid. Watch a sad movie. You know, if you watch a sad movie, what happens? You cry. It's okay to cry if you watch a sad movie. So cry. The other one would be laughter. Laugh. Laughing helps a lot. So watch a funny movie, or talk to a friend that's funny, that lifts up your spirits. Asking for support. Okay, don't be afraid to ask for support, because there's a lot of numbers that reach out and do you want to talk to someone. Take advantage of those numbers and then phone them, and if you're not comfortable talking to someone close, but you have those other options. There's always a way for help. You're never going to be stuck. I believe that there's always a way out to get out of that rut of where the support is. There's always going to be support no matter what, because don't ever think that you're not loved. You are loved. Okay, so that was my vision of the medicine wheel. So not only that, when I told you that our school is very diverse, and it's pretty neat how our circle is it's in harmony, it's in balance, it's we were in one. So, and to see this, and then we have so we have the White Nation, and then we have the Yellow Nation, and then we have the Red Nation, and the Black Nation. So when I introduced this, there's a book called The Medicine Wheel Hoop Dancer. It's a cute little book where this boy asked Dad or Grandpa, and Grandpa was the one telling the story himself, that he traveled around the world, how he went and picked up his friends of every nation, and they're all friends, they're the balance and harmony, and at the end he was the hoop dancer. So that's how I explained more how we have to be nice to one another. There's no room for racism or to be how do you say it? There's no room for racism. So this wheel represents all First Nations and other nations to keep balancing of where we live together. So the other things that I went into when I took my kids out for a walk, so this was my understanding. We have this circle that come in 4. As we all say, like 4 is a sacred number. So once I go on into saying, let's say I discovered 4 things of our nature and animals. So we have the crawlers, we have the flyers, we have the 2-legged and the 4-legged. Okay, So we have crawlers, which is our spiders, the bugs. Spiders, bugs, and the crawlers are the ones that can fly, right? So anything that crawls that has 8 legs, but the cycle of crawlers is they help with the land, and they help with other animals to survive. So we call them the crawlers. And we have the flyers. Those are the birds that are up in the sky. Okay. And then we have the 2-legged, which is us. And we have the 4-legged, which is the moose, caribou, anything that walks on 4s. Okay. And then we also have, we're going to go into the 4 elements. So your 4 elements that make up earth, or aski. So the aski also means earth. We have land, which is earth, water, fire, air. 4 most important elements that we surround ourselves. And I want to emphasize more on aski, the word aski, earth. When we get Jack, the legend has where the great creator was upset with the people where he flooded the land. So we get Jack was floating on this log with some animals, and the animals were asking, well, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? There's no land from far away. Everything's flooded. And then so we get Jack told one of the animals, you know what? We need to go down there and get the asiski, the mud or dirt that's underneath the bottom of the water. And so the beaver went a misk, but couldn't get down there. Came back and said, I can't touch it, I can't find it. And I'm pretty sure it was the otter that got the piece of the land, or the asiski, the mud, the dirt. And so he got up and got it. And then this is the story where we get Jack put it on top of the turtle. And then that's when it got bigger and bigger and bigger, and that's where the term Turtle Island came. So if you ever see the map, it's sitting like this, and you could see the outline of the turtle. So that's where the Turtle Island came from, and that's where earth came from. The word aski. You have asiski, aski. Okay. Okay, and I did emphasize the seasons, physical. Okay, and then we are gonna do the times of day, right? So we have morning, noon, evening, night. And then don't forget the word that I gave you. When we look at the clock, and I'm sure a long time ago that they used the sun and the moon to tell time. So they know when it's morning, they know it's noon, it's going to be evening, and then night. And the word bisim in both ways is sun and moon. And then we call the clock bisamogan, because you have the AM, morning, and you have your four areas of telling time. Okay. So we were told that we have the 4 sacred animals. So we have eagle, mikiso, which is the higher power of an eagle that is closer to the creator, and he also gives us the feathers, which is very sacred. And then we have buffalo. Buffalo is one of the sacred animals. Wolf and bear. Okay, those are considered the 4 sacred animals. So we also have the settings of the moon. So we have first quarter. We have the moon that comes in 4. That turns into 4. Okay, so moon first quarter it's called. And then we got new moon. New moon, and then we have the full moon. And the third quarter. So with one of these, the one that comes out more to me is the full moon. There's a lot of ceremonies that go with the full moon. So every time there is a full moon, they call it, I don't know how to extend this a little bit more, but there is ceremonies that go out to celebrate the moon. And I remember my dad telling me when we were going outside how looking at the moon, he's very knowledgeable with the moon, where when the crescent turns and goes upside down, and then when the crescent goes upside down, he told me that that's when it starts getting cold, and the moon is giving that coldness to earth. And then he goes, oh, the giswaya, it's gonna get warm, the moon's going this way. So I hope to get that whole story down and bank that story from him. So that's my knowledge of the moon setting in 4. So we also have the beings we come in for, right? So we're gonna be a child, newborn, okay, and then we go into our teens and adolescence. I don't know how to spell adolescence. Adolescence. Okay, I'll put that there. Adolescence, teen, adolescence, and then we go to adulthood, and then we go into elders. And the cycle starts again with a teen, adults, teen, adolescents, adults, elders. So that's also comes in 4, as you can see. So this is what I've been learning, or it was given to me how to set the things in 4, because 4 is a sacred number. Prior to this, the medicine wheel part, we also have from the Ojibwe 7 sacred teachings. So we take these 2, which the 7 teachings, each teaching honor one of the basic virtues to help us to live a full and healthy life. So we have love, humility, honesty, wisdom, courage, truth, and respect. Their sacred teachings is represented by a different animal and provides practical and positive traits of us in our everyday life. So basic, you have love one another, humility, mankind, honest, be true to yourself, be honest, wisdom, make wise choices, courage, don't be afraid, truth, be truth to yourself and be truth to others, and respect one another. And when you have all that, so there's 7. So I had an elder explain to me, say you look at a flower and you label that flower with these 7 teachings, and say one of them fell, let's say truth fell, and then the other ones might not come in balance because you lost the truth. So you need to practice these 7 teachings where helps us live a full life and a healthy lifestyle. So say to yourself, okay, what am I going to practice today? Wisdom. So some of these 7 teachings are posted at school and to remind students that what is love. So love has different ways of I love coming to school. I love how my teacher teaches me. I love my friend. I love myself. So that's the number one thing, is a lot of us forget to love ourselves. Okay, so don't forget about that. And the other one is courage. A lot of the youth now need a lot of courage to go to school, to learn how to drive a car, learn how to drive a bike, to have the courage to go ask, basically, or to go on their own, and not to be afraid to talk for themselves. And respect, you have to respect the boundaries of who's around you. Don't go in their bubble. Respect one another, as in leave the stuff alone that doesn't belong to you. Treat others the way you want to be treated. Respect your teacher by listening and listen to the lessons that she has for you today. Respect your parents, because your parents are the ones that brought you into this world and they want the best for you. So put that respect into the flower. So when you have all those 7 teachings, I believe that it gives you balance and harmony, and to help you, guide you through life. So that's my knowledge of the 7 teachings. And we have our medicine wheel, and we have our medicines here, which I'm grateful that I had this opportunity to share with you. So I'm going to end by saying, kinanaskumintanao anos utagayayin the bet the man and to learn what I've shared with you. If you're here the first time to start hearing your language, don't give up. Kanak pagitsi, kawena pagitsi. Don't ever give up. Keep going. If you're seeing this in the whole journey of the topics that we've been doing, go on and beyond. Kana pagitsi, don't give up. And for those that have had the knowledge of being a language keeper, keep going. There'll be a time and day where that language is going to come very important at that moment. It's not just something that was pushed aside like they did to what they did in residential school. It's still here. We're still here. And remember, it also starts at home. With myself, it started home. I picked up the jingle dress. I started putting medicine into my home setting, to lift up my spirits, and I'm honored to be called a language keeper, because I didn't know way before, or even when all this residential school starts coming out, how important now that we need to reconcile, revive the language with our future generation. Agone, kinanaskumit tanawao, anos utagagisigak, niminenten dawe yamitan. I'm very grateful and thankful that I'm here to talk to you today. Hi.